All right, what's going on, everybody? My name is Watt Williams. I am the founder and CEO of EpicHire, and we are on a mission to put the human back in hiring. So a little bit about our journey. We launched our MVP in November of 2023. We've generated over $250,000 in revenue, brought on key customers like Ally Bank, Insight Global, and the Texas Rangers, and have over 10,000 users in our talent marketplace to date. We attribute a lot of our early momentum to our ability to being able to identify and address a key problem in the market. So the key problem that we identified was that when early career recruiters were posting jobs, on average they were receiving over 250 applications. Now imagine you're a recruiter, you're responsible for 10 jobs. That means that you're responsible for interacting and engaging with over 2,500 humans. This process is time-consuming, it is insanely boring, and it is completely void of human connection. And if the problem wasn't bad enough already, well, enter AI. So AI is making this problem 100 times worse. So now it's commonplace in the market for students to upload their resume to an AI tool, press a button, and they're instantly applying to 100 jobs all at once. So great job, students. Well, guess what? Employers don't love that. That then means that their applicant tracking systems are getting loaded up with garbage data. So what do? One of two things. They either purchase their own AI tool to screen out the student's AI tool, really cool Wall Street Journal article about that, or they leverage an innovative talent marketplace like EpicHire to interact, engage, and hire students. So for us, our talent marketplace has three key pillars that draw in students and recruiters. That is clubs, student stories, and playbooks. So for us, and in the market as a whole, clubs are all the rage right now. So gone are the days of big dollar donations to universities, gone are the days of career fairs, very much in our partnerships with skills-based clubs. So in our marketplace, we make it really easy for recruiters to create those partnerships as well as get their jobs directly to the students participating in those clubs. The second key pillar within our talent marketplace are playbooks. So you can think of playbooks as highly curated subsets of students within our database. So think of women in business, North Carolina student athletes, or Morehead scholars. And so for us, this is a really cool marketing tool. It enables us once a month to feature new playbooks, which draw in our current customers, as well as prospects into our marketplace. The third key pillar of our talent marketplace are student stories. So think of a student story as a snapshot of a candidate's character and personality. It draws in a recruiter to the more traditional content of a resume. This is really a key feature for us because this is the feature that has enabled us to take the process of reviewing applicants from being time-consuming and insanely boring and completely void of human interaction, and it's turned it into an experience that is quick, exciting, and loaded with human personality and character. All right, so let's talk about milestones. So for us, as I referenced, we've generated over $250,000 in revenue. We've raised over $615,000 from angel investors via Safe Notes. We additionally have another $150,000 that's been verbally committed. Yet what we'd be most excited about would be a pilot expansion with an organization like CED. They came on with us roughly 6 months ago with 3 seats. They're now looking to expand their partnership out of just the Carolinas into the entirety of the Southeast, taking them from 3 seats to 10 to 15 seats. All right, the market. So we're entering a well-established market with billion-dollar players in it like Handshake. For us, myself and co-founders, we're targeting the states where we have the best talent acquisition relationships currently, which would be North Carolina, Texas, and California. We're then expanding out across the United States, and we'd eventually like to get into the space of expanding out past just early career. From a subscription perspective, 2024 is all about landing anchor marquee customers. So landing the Ally Banks, the GE Aerospaces, the Rokus of the world to draw in students. 2025 is all about renewals and all about building verticals behind those anchor accounts. So getting the second, third large organizations within those industries. Projections-wise, I like to use a sports analogy here. We have really big ambitions. We want to be a billion-dollar organization, and we know in order to do that, we need to be dialed in. So for us, dialed in looks like hitting $2 million in ARR by the end of 2025. The team, so cool stats on the team. So we have over 5 decades of experience in agency recruiting or talent acquisition. On the business front, the majority of us have worked together for over 10 years. Most of the team on the business side I actually hired out of college in my previous role, and they've now followed me into Team EpicHire. On the development front, we do all of our development currently in-house. Our team is anchored and led by Christina Edwards. She spent over a decade at Premier Inc. here in Charlotte as the VP of Solution Development. Our roles, I think the key thing I would note here is that through working together for over a decade, we have high levels of trust with one another. That enables us to stay focused in on what we specifically are responsible for, while trusting that everyone else is going to take care of their part of the business. This for us is a growth hack, and it's a scale hack. All right, so the ask, what are we here for today? So we're looking for strategic investors, ideally people who have a background in operations, scaling businesses, or are willing to open up the networks for us. Minimum investments of $50K, and we're raising via safe notes. The outcomes you could expect. So we're driving towards $500,000 in revenue this year, a talent marketplace that has over 30,000 students, and then we're gearing up for our Super Bowl, which happens once a year at a conference called NACE. That's where we will be unveiling our Vision OS developments that will further help us with our mission of putting the human back in hiring. So if you start to wonder, where are all the college students going? Just meet them where they're at on EpicHire. Thank you, guys.
High energy pitch. If you could just help me understand, how is this intended to be used? Because it feels like a social media platform for hiring. Are you intending for the recruiting manager to scroll through students? I think I don't understand how you intend for it to be used.
Yeah, I think the two ways. So in one way, a recruiter could be doing outbound recruiting. And so like I referenced, in the industry as a whole right now, there's this big push, less around universities and career services departments, more around like national clubs like a SHIP or a NSBE or an AMA. And so for us, we're bringing recruiters a way to facilitate those partnerships through an app. And so for us, it's very easy if you want to build a relationship with the American Marketing Association at Wilmington, because you hire a lot of entry-level marketing people. It's like, well, that's the most relevant subset of students within that demographic that you could be going after. So we make it easy for you to get your jobs to them. And then let's assume you've posted a job on our platform. So if you've posted a job on our platform, currently the process would be you get 200 resumes, you're opening up emails, you're then having to make a quick decision within 7 seconds of like, does this resume make me want to send an email back? So in our platform, we've created a fun, engaging way where it's like swiping through candidates, and it's shortlisting candidates to get them into your applicant tracking system. So for us, really twofold. If you're going to be doing outbound recruiting, we make it really easy for you to target a highly skill-based club to get into your ecosystem. Or if you're doing inbound recruiting and you're waiting for applicants to come to you, we have a really fun, engaging way for them to review those applications.
Okay, you're talking to the person who dislikes HR. I'll be honest. Okay, like.
Trust me, I spent the entirety of my agency career avoiding HR, so it's now ironic that I'm on the space of building a product for them. So.
Okay, we have 124 employees. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to pay you $8,000 to do what?
Oh, you pay us $8,000.
And I have to fill 50 jobs. What am I paying for?
You'd be paying us to help you build out internship programs, so to get your internship-specific roles to those students, or you're paying to hire students right out of college. So for us, think of us as a job board that's bringing you a highly curated subset of students from universities.
Okay. And then how are you, a bit different, because I've seen a bunch of these types of platforms, how are you differentiated from me just going to, say, my favorite university or one of the universities and just saying, hey, marketing club, we've got a job, put it out to your students?
Yeah, I think as it'd be different as it pertains to the example that you gave of like, yeah, you're going to the career fair yourself. Like that's a lot of money from your organization to send someone like yourself to a school. So for us, it's automating that process and making that process easy. So commonplace in the market right now is that, yeah, a hiring manager might have their schools, and a different hiring manager will have their schools, and they want their campus recruiting team of 4 to get to 50 schools. Well, guess what? All the career fairs are in September, or most of them are in September. So you can only be in 4 places at once if you have a career fair team of 4. And an organization that has 150 people, you might not even have anyone that focuses just on the college space. And so for us, we're leveraging our technology to make it easy for someone like yourself to say, listen, we want an early career funnel. We just can't pay to compete with the big dogs in that space that have 30 career fair or campus recruiters going to these career fairs. Well, like, great, have your brand stand out on our platform. Use your brand to then draw in that kind of next wave of talent. So like right now, the market is built upon you have to be paying $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 to come to our career fair, and you have to have a human there to like collect resumes we're taking that kind of, taking that manual process out of that and trying to lean into all the positive aspects of social media. So if you think to the problem that we're trying to solve, it's like we want people on our app. We want people getting to know the human behind the resume. So for us, it's like right now, recruiters will look at a resume for 7 seconds, 30 seconds. Like that's not enough time to get to know a human, and they're really not thinking through it with that mindset. So for us, we're really trying to help recruiters get to know that human behind the resume and leaning into stories as a way to do that.
By the way, impressive to get to 200 and, was it 30,000 you said in revenue? 50, yeah. Yes. Well, I tell people in 12 to 18 months, if you can get up to 140,000 in revenue, you have something. What it is, don't know. Is it scalable? Don't know. But in 1 to 2 years, if you can get to 2 million in revenue, that's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm still not understanding your financial model. Like, who are you charging companies, and then like, how did you get to $250,000?
Great sales team. But let's see, for us, we charge subscriptions. So right now we have 3 main packages, which I can go back to. So 5K, 15K, and 25K. For us, the majority of the deals that we've done have been in the 5K space. That's where I was trying to reference for us, building a marketplace. It's like this year, it's vital that we can grow our user base so that in 2025, we can increase our pricing and move to a model where our average package is $50,000. In our space, prices can range, like average pricing would be anywhere from like 35 to 70K for similar technologies, and then pricing could get up into the $150,000, $200,000 range.
So you're charging Bank of America, whoever, whatever they fall into that. Okay. The other question is just, you mentioned, you just actually brought it up, the marketplace.
Yeah.
The hardest thing about, I mean, most investors hate investing in marketplaces. How are you tackling that with both, I as a student come on, I'm not seeing any companies, and or vice versa, I'm a company and I have no students?
Yeah, that journey has been a fun one for sure. So we actually launched beta that was a web app beta at North Carolina and NC State, and pretty quickly we got a few hundred students, and we had no jobs, no employers, no nothing. And they came on and were telling their stories. So for us, that was enough to lean into of, hey, like as we continue to grow and we continue to focus on evolving the employer story or the candidate storytelling experience, it's like we're on to something. So for us, from an investor perspective, we knew if we were going to generate interest, we had to show out revenue. And so for us, that's why we didn't go with the model of, yeah, just make it free, show user growth. It was like, no, we really wanted to prove out that people see the vision for how we're helping them interact and engage with clubs, as well as see the vision for how we're helping them get through applicants. So I think for us, it's been a mix of 2 things. It's like getting customers to actually pay and generating a revenue story that helps investors, as well as landing enterprise customers. So for us in the marketplace, we started with no customers. We quickly landed Insight Global. That then helps us get 811 Group, other staffing industries behind that. So I think that goes back into our model for next year as well as it pertains to, 2024, get a key partner on in each of these verticals. And then 2025, it's like go get on 5, 6 of their peers behind them, which was similar to how I worked in the agency recruiting world.
One thing, have you thought, like you said, these clubs and things like that, I think a potential differentiator that you could have is if you could show a track record of a student at these clubs doing something. Maybe they're working at this club and they show that they've been, for the last 3 years, 100% of all their meetings. And have you guys thought about anything around creating track records so that it really differentiates the student? It's an enterprise, right? They always hire student athletes, like, because they're like, you got to be on time, you got to be high performing, you got to be high achieving. But like, if I'm in the beta club, like, okay, you're on the beta club. Like when I was in college, I joined every club. I was like lighting club, and I went to 1 meeting over 4 years, but it was on my resume, right? Like, so like, how do you help the student differentiate themselves from that standpoint?
Yeah, we actually just launched a code release last week in which we now enable employers to see if a student is on the e-board or if they're just a member. And then we enable students to then like show through visuals what they're actually doing. So a great example would be GE Aerospace or Tesla. It's like they predominantly want to be hiring from a club called Formula SAE. And specifically, they want to be hiring people that are actually like participating, building a specific part of the race car. So yeah, for us, we want to make that highly relevant. And then I think the other piece I was trying to address there is, yeah, we delineate within our product. If you just wanted to send your job to the executive board members, so your VPs that are doing something, you can. And then also another key problem in the market right now is like, well, great, you go out and you build a relationship with the AMA at UNCW, and then, well, that president graduates. So then how do you get involved with that chapter moving forward? And it seems simple, like the student should just send me an email. Yeah, have fun trying that. It's not as simple as just staying connected with that one person.
Just a piece of feedback. I think one thing that might help your pitch a little bit is just how it works on both sides. Because I think where we might be struggling is it's great to have your revenue slide, but if we don't really understand how you make money, which is the most important part for an investor, is how am I going to make my money back? You know, it's like, okay, from a student perspective, you know, I'm joining and I'm presuming it's free for the students. Then on the corporate side, how does it work? So you can get corporates to sign up once, and 8 or 10 or 12 or even $50,000 isn't a big ask. The re-up is going to be hard, and so how it works is actually going to be way more important to be very clear what they're paying for, what they're getting, and how the process works.
Yeah, that's great feedback. Thank you.
Awesome. Let's give it up for Epic Hire.
Thank you.